Hey everyone, Temporal here, and today I'm going to be going over a composition I call Bunker Bust, or how to break first point defense bunkers with ease. Bunkers traditionally come out on First Point Anubis, Kings Row, Hollywood, Route 66, and occasionally Hanamura and Blizzard World. When attacking on any of these maps in the current meta, it's almost always worth it to leave your team in spawn while a Lucio speed boosts out a Sombra, who's left her translocator in spawn room. She can then go check out the opposing comp invisible. If they're on a bunker comp, great. You go ahead and just have her translocate back, and everyone gets to roll out on your bunker bust comp. Obviously, this applies for lots of other things too. The blind Sombra Scout is just a good tech in general, but it's a little more situational on other maps. When attacking these maps, definitely worth doing. A normal bunker, which is what this composition is meant to break down, consists of Orisa, D.Va, some combination of Junk, Widow, McCree, Hanzo, Soldier, Torb, and then supports that aren't Moira or Lucio. If the bunker consists of Bastion, you don't need this strategy to break it. Come on, we've been breaking Bastion bunkers since season 1. And if it includes Sim, you're going to have to soft dive it to force out the teleporter before recommitting to a real dive there, since your movement abilities are on a shorter cooldown than teleporter. We first got to see this comp come out when Fusion University ran it in the Season 2 Contenders Finals and won their first team fight on their Point A capture within 18 seconds of the round starting. Hats off to them, it was awesome. As you can see, it consists of Winston, D.Va, Hammond, Genji, Zen, and Ana. Now you may be thinking, Contenders playoffs were on a different patch, Winston had bugged jump pack damage, it's totally different now, right? Well, that's true. He did have that bugged jump pack damage. He always got his 50 damage from his leaps back then. And it is weaker with that bug not in play. Orisa and Soldier also recently received spread reductions, which does increase the strength of bunkers. Still, none of those things are enough. The teams I'm working with are still having no trouble at all breaking down bunkers with Bunker Bust. At a basic level, with this comp, all three of your dive tanks go in and dive the primary healer if they're in the bunker, and if they're not in the bunker, they instead dive the primary damage dealer in the bunker. After confirming that kill, they either move on to that primary damage dealer or to that secondary healer. Primary damage dealer being something like a Junk, Soldier, McCree, secondary healer usually being something like a Zenyatta or a Briggs there. Your first two kills are going to be on squishies in the bunker, though. That's not negotiable. Losing a single tank to confirm these two kills, it's fine. You're still going to win the fight. You have redundancies in that you're sending in three tanks. They do not have the same level of redundancy. Bunkers fall apart when they lose their primary healer and primary damage dealer. You do need to get good damage with your pile driver and jump pack though, and that does mean that your hit scan player, as that's who I'd recommend flexes over to Hammond in this setup, as it will give you an easier swap off later, will need to go ahead and practice that pile driver a bit so that they can get good damage. Going with realistic numbers for your initiation, 70 out of 100 damage from pile driver on that primary healer, 30 out of 50 jump pack damage, plus melee from Winston, then a dash from Genji. That puts us at 180 damage that can't be matrixed. We of course get to add some Tesla damage, still not matrixable, some micro missile damage, super easy regular tracking during the pile drive movement lock for both Hammond and D.Va, as well as shuriken and or melee damage from Genji. That's just our divers, and that's an easy kill on the squishy before they even touch the ground. In practice, that squishy is going to get some peel, maybe an armor pack, peel station, matrix, but you're also going to get a pretty easy discord while they're knocked up, and possibly a little extra damage from your Zen and Ana. Long story short, your damage is very precise, and that first target will die immediately and without significant health loss to your dive team. That lets you snowball the fight. Beyond getting your damage on the proper target, this will fail terribly, for example, if you try to kill Orisa or D.Va first. There are some other pieces of execution that really matter. First up, halt, flashbang, and sleep can all break up your dive, and as such need to either be eaten by D.Va or deflected by Genji. This isn't as challenging as it may sound, though, as all three of those abilities need to come out at very specific moments to matter. Sleep on Hammond during his pile driver, for example, halt right before your divers land, etc. Nades and mines, they're also threats. They're less important than the other three, though if you can eat them, that's great. If you can deflect them, that's even better. That's going to speed up how quickly you win the fight. Winston's bubble also needs to come out pretty much immediately during your dive. And what that's going to do is that's going to cover the bunker, and that does a couple of really cool things. First, it lets your Zen and Anna peek, so now they have about 2 seconds to contribute everything they can. That means your Zenyatta gets to get Discord Orb out there, move Harmony Orb if necessary, hopefully peek with a volley, if not, at least throw out a couple orbs, and your Anna gets to throw both of her abilities on cooldown. She can literally just lob her nade in there, send a sleep dart, doesn't matter. She's not going to need to defend herself with them because you're playing against a bunker, and bunkers are too weak if they run flankers. The other cool thing that that bubble does is it locks out anyone who isn't in the bunker. So now, if there was, say, an opposing widow outside the bunker, that bubbles down so she can't see your supports. She also can't do anything to the people inside the bunker to help. And there could also be an Anna out there. If there's an Anna outside the bunker that was trying to heal the bunker from far away, as you often see on Anubis, she can't get any of her healing into that bunker for that first second or two. So you're going to win during those critical first 2 seconds, and then from there it's pretty much over. Once the bubble is destroyed, though, your Zen and Anna are going to have to get back behind cover if there is an opposing sniper. After you've gone those first 2 kills, one of your tanks that's still alive is going to need to break off to tie up that sniper, allowing your supports to get back into the fight. I don't, however, recommend staying on this comp after you take first, unless you have both Minefield and Primal. Those can get some serious value together, but don't let yourself get baited into waiting for them. If you're 70% of the way to Minefield, for example, don't bother, just go ahead and swap. Fortunately, this comp is really nice in that it's only 2 swaps away from a perfectly reasonable Cyberdive comp. If you had your hit scan playing Hammond, like I recommended, they can roll right over to Sombra, and Zen can hop on Lucio. Great. Now you have a solid comp. You only made 2 swaps, so you've still got a reasonable ult economy. And your opponent, just based on the nature of what a bunker comp is going to have to make way more swaps to get at anything serious. We saw this a ton in Overwatch League during Season 1, when teams would defend Anubis A with a bunker. They might hold for almost 4 minutes, but then they'd get absolutely snowballed because they had to swap more than half their team to get onto a real comp for second. So that works out nicely.
You guys have probably realized at this point that I'm not really a huge fan of running bunkers in this current meta. I think it's too easy to make these swaps while attacking and take down that bunker in a single push. There are a couple things you can do to make your bunker more reasonable, not lose to this quite so hard. One of those is swapping a Lucio as your secondary healer. Lucio doesn't have great synergy with a bunker in general because of his movement and Orissa's not movement. Those don't work terribly well together. But against this comp specifically, if you're worried about it coming out, his ability to pull them away, move the whole group away, react to the dive with a speed boost can make them much harder for this comp to dive. It doesn't matter that you're leaving behind your Orisa shield because all that really opens you up to is damage from the opposing Zen and Anna, and that's a lesser concern than getting hit by the 4 divers there. So react to the dive with speed boost, that can help, particularly running undercover. If you can bring them indoors into a enclosed area, that's going to work a little bit better for you. Still, don't terribly recommend it. Another thing that has worked well is we did see France make their adaptation and how they were holding Anubis first. They had a forward group in front of their bunker there. So they put their Widowmaker, D.Va, and Mercy as an extra forward group on top of Arch while working Anubis first there, and they spawn camped for about 2.5 minutes against most of their opponents. Makes your bunker harder to dive because you're not really using your bunker the same way. The bunker is where you back up to, so it takes longer to really set up the dive, and if you can mimic that type of performance, yes, it's going to work okay. You're going to drain an acceptable amount of time off of the clock before they can properly set up to dive your bunker.
Anyway, that's what I've got today. I'll be going on live in Twitch in just a minute to answer any questions from chat. Otherwise, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks. Temporal out.